to the Moi Boys Dynasty Podcast, the greatest podcast that you didn't want or ask for. And now introducing your hosts, Jake the Gluten-Free Harris and Peter Cheater Pigoo Hot Sizzle O'Donnell.
Ray's World, track to crave, starts to take.
Hello and welcome into the My Play. What's up, my homies? It is ya boy, Jake the Gluten-Free Harris, coming at you live from St. Louis, 1:36 in the morning. You know how we do, baby. All right, enough of the nonsense. We have something very serious to talk about. In our last episode, we broke down Eddie the Disler. And we talked about how he has an opportunity to flip up the glass box, turn the key, slap that red button, and blow it all up, and trade his valuable assets for younger assets and picks. And that's how he's going to rebuild. Now, not everyone's in Eddie's situation. Not everyone has a team stacked full of studs. Not everyone's burned every single draft pick they have to the ground. Some of people in our league have taken a bit more of a bit more cautious approach. And eventually what's going to happen to someone in this league is that they're going to look at their team and be like, man, I've got like two assets that are worth anything. I've got like a quarterback and a running back, and that's it. And I need to start 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, and 6 wide receivers. That's 10 dudes. So how do I get from a team full of like 2 stars and all scrubs to a team that's just good? And we are going to break down a retool versus a rebuild. We broke down what a retool is going to look like, where Eddie's going to take his guy, someone like Derrick Henry. He's going to sell him for someone like David Montgomery and a first during the playoffs when someone needs Derrick Henry levels of production. And we're going to talk about how if you don't have those assets, how do you move forwards? All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. We're going to pull up Ray's team because our boy Ray is in trouble. We're going to be taking a little trip to Ray's world. Now, in Ray's world, he's got Patrick Mahomes, Najee Harris, Kenneth Walker, CeeDee Lamb, 4 amazing studs. A good tight end, a second good tight end, and then a bunch of question marks. Hopefully one of these quarterbacks works out, and one of his long shot wide receivers from the draft works out. Other than that, he doesn't have like a lot of proven value on his bench or his taxi squad. It's just a bunch of nobodies and long shots, which sucks. It sucks to come out of the startup draft like that. And there were some misses that Ray had. There were a couple of times where I think one of his misses, there were a lot of good players on the board, and Ray ended up taking Michael Carter. Breece Hall comes to town, puts it up Michael Carter's poop chute. And that's the way it goes sometimes in Dynasty. You think you got a valuable asset, and then you blink and you don't. And all of a sudden you're going to have a hard time trading him for a second-round pick. You know, that would be a great value for Michael Carter at this point, I think. Now, let's say come mid-2023. Can I get this little thing to stop? Can you go away? All right, can't get rid of the pinwheel. Sorry, boys. All right, so let's say come 2023, he's got Mahomes, Najee, CeeDee Lamb. Kenneth Walker hasn't really broken out yet. He's stuck in a timeshare with what's-his-face. And Michael Thomas, let's say worst case scenario, he just refuses to play because he's being a diva. And then his value is just going to Gabe Davis doesn't have an awesome year, just an okay year, like an 800 yards, 6 touchdown season. And we'll say one of his long shots has a similar type. Gabe Davis, he was 800 yards, couple tutties. Freiermuth doesn't have some sort of insane breakout. Hawkinson's solid, and Freiermuth is okay. If that's the case, Ray's going to be looking really rough. Here's how he's going to dig himself out. Here's how anyone can dig themselves out if they find themselves in that situation. What you're going to do is you're going to take first your running backs, because they have a short shelf life. They are the hardest position to get elite production out of. There's not a ton. There's only 32 running backs in the league that have starting jobs, and not all of them are very good. So the talent pool is slim, and having a dude like Najee Harris, who is worth a lot. He's worth that 112 that Ray spent on him, or 121, 201, or whatever Ray spent. I think he went Najee and CD back to back, boom, boom. You're going to be able to take Najee, and you can trade him for something with a longer shelf life. You can either trade him for multiple firsts. I would go 3 firsts for Najee. I think would be a fair price, because what you're drafting with those firsts is you're trying to get Najee. You're trying to get someone who's going to have a massive rookie season the way that Najee did, be the running back 3 in PPR points, and to honestly not even have like he only had 10 touchdowns. There's a lot of room for improvement to this dude's next season. And he didn't have a great yards per carry. That O-line sucked. Everyone knew Ben Roethlisberger couldn't throw. They were crashing in on Najee. So Ray could take Najee, sell him to a contender for a haul. So like, if I was going to sell him to someone like Peter is someone who, in spite of not having any running backs, could find himself in a contending situation. Say all these receivers work out. He's got 3 amazing quarterbacks. Ray could sell Najee. Now, here's what Ray does not want to do. He doesn't want to sell Najee and a first for Justin Herbert. That may seem appealing, but Ray has 10 players that he needs to start, and he's left with just, 4? 4 of them with any real value. Kenneth Walker, Najee, CD, and Pat Mahomes. He's got to take those guys and turn them into 10 startable players. So taking your first and going from 2 assets down to 1 asset is the exact opposite of what you want to be doing. While tempting, it is the opposite. So you would want to be targeting Jerry Jeudy and a first, Brandon Ayuk and 2 firsts, because Ayuk is kind of worth just a single first right now. Elijah Moore is probably something similar. Claypool's kind of a mid-second, and possibly even lower than that at this point. So you're going to be targeting a young wide receiver and picks. And that's going to take Najee and turn him into potentially 3 starting guys. Possibly just 2 with the picks, but you can use that pick to, again, buy someone reliable. When you're on the clock is when that pick is going to have the most trade value. Someone's going to see someone that they need to have. Like, I'm not going to out my boy like this, but someone in our league is desperate to have a tight end named Michael Mayer on their team. Someone. And you're on the clock, Ray. Michael Mayer's on the clock, and all of a sudden that dude's texting you, and he's like, bro, let's make a deal. And you get to turn that first, which you took Brandon Ayuk and 2 firsts for Najee, and now you get to take that first and split that into multiple assets again. Now, that's the kind of deals that you're going to be doing. So then you've got 3 assets. So you're up to Mahomes, CD, Kenneth in those 3. So you're up to 6. You got 4 more to go. Now, the last piece you're going to sell is going to be Mahomes, because he is going to have the longest window of production. And if you're not really going to be looking to win games until like 2023, 2024, probably more like 2024 with a situation where you've only got like 4 assets, Mahomes' winning window is going to go he's going to go well into 2028 with his elite production. He's 26 right now. Today, it's 2022. He'll be 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. In 6 years, he'll only be 32. 33 is still great for quarterbacks. 34 is still good. You see quarterbacks produce into their 40s now. So if Mahomes takes care of his body right, he's the kind of guy. He plays the way that Aaron Rodgers used to, where he uses his legs to get out of trouble. He's not taking big hits. I mean, their O-line, he got hit a lot last year because their O-line wasn't great. But Aaron Rodgers has had years like that too. Anyway, enough about Mahomes. You get it. So you take a Najee, you split him up into 3. You're at 6 assets. Now you're going to take CeeDee Lamb. You're going to do what's called a down tier. Down tiering is where you take CeeDee Lamb and you're going to go a tier below him and pick up multiple guys or assets out of the tier below him, or maybe 2 tiers below him. So you're going to take someone like CeeDee Lamb and you're going to come down to someone who's in need of a stud wideout. Let's say, I think Brett could use a stud young wideout. I am correct. He could. You're going to take someone like CeeDee Lamb and you're going to trade him for, if Juju has a decent year, not great, just decent, say 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns. Not great. It's good. You're going to trade him for Juju and a first and a second, or maybe Juju and 3 seconds. Maybe Juju and 2 firsts. Honestly, if CD has an awesome year, Juju and 2 firsts would not be out of the question. And if Juju doesn't get it, like if Juju just has an okay year in a Kansas City offense, where he's kind of like the biggest name in that passing core, he's probably not going to be worth, like, I don't think someone's going to expect the year 6 Juju breakout at that point. Like, this is it for him. So what you see this year is probably what you're going to get. And he may not even get re-signed to the Chiefs the next year. So you're going to be, CD for Juju and 2 firsts would not be ridiculous. Going down, you could also maybe try and get guys like Donovan Peoples-Jones if he has like a 900-yard season. That would be a usable asset. People you would not want to target if DJ Chark has an okay year. I think he's on like a 1-year deal maybe. I don't remember. You're not going to want to get someone like Devontae Parker. I love Parker's situation. I think he's a good win now depth piece. But him being 29 years old, his injury history, Curtis Samuel might be someone if he has a decent year and is able to get touches even after they just drafted Jahan Dotson, Jaheezy Deezy. Robbie Anderson, not too interested in. Again, 29 years old. He's not going to fit that winning window. He's going to be 31 by the time Ray's looking to win games. So you could maybe turn him into like maybe a younger quarterback. You might be able to get CeeDee Lamb for like Mac Jones in a few firsts. Like if Jones has another year where his points per game, like he was finished as QB 18, but his points per game he was like QB 29 in points per game, and that's not really something that Ray really needs on his team. But again, you're just trying to get multiple assets. You're trying to take one guy, turn him into 3 or 4. And if you don't have, let's say Ray's team ends up being even worse, like CD just has a okay year, you don't have to get first round picks. Second round picks hit at a super high rate for wide receivers. Like wide receiver second round picks hit. They hit at a good rate. Much higher than second round rookie draft running backs. Now, I'm not saying second round NFL draft, second round rookie draft picks. Those second round rookie draft picks for wide receiver have a very high hit rate. So if you're able to take CeeDee Lamb and turn him into 5 second round picks, if like that's what you have to do, then do it. Because having just one CeeDee Lamb is like your only valuable piece. You're going to have to take him and divide him into as many different assets as you can and go from there. And there's going to be times where you're just going to have to roll the dice. You won't always be able to take a CeeDee Lamb and trade him for proven guys, proven Brandon Ayuks, who are just kind of like that middle tier young wide receiver who aren't super expensive. So, and Kenneth Walker, you'll probably hold him until next year. Hoping that what's his face doesn't come back. The other running back, Rashad Penny, doesn't re-sign with the Seahawks. And if that's the case, wheels up for Walker, then you sell him. But your first thing you got to do is dump your aging players for whatever you can get. Try and split them into multiple assets, anything you can get. And you want to sell them at the right time. So if Michael Thomas is holding out, don't sell him during the holdout. That's not his peak value. When he comes back to play, posts a 15-point game, his first game back, it's a good time to sell him. If he's looking healthy and you're close to the playoffs, maybe just hold him and sell him to a playoff team that needs a boost. They're generally going to be willing to pay more. And that's how you're going to take a team that needs to rebuild and rebuild it. I've talked long enough. I'm a long-winded mofo. I know this about myself. That's all for today. We're going to be looking to get into kind of more roster breakdowns like we've been doing. So if you're interested in Najee, text Ray. He's the only one in the group that doesn't have an iPhone. You can badger him about that maybe a little bit too. So we'll call it there. Thanks for watching. I don't know why you do, but I'm so glad you do because I have fun making these for you. And apparently you have some fun watching them. Later.
Ray's World, tragic rate starts today.